I just found out during the Cold War, there was a real researched plan in which the Americans would drop extra large condoms labeled medium all over the Soviets' army so that they would think that all American men had huge penises and would feel inferior and quit. I have another fun fact for you. So according to this guy named John Aubrey in 1693, the 17th Earl of Oxford, Edward de Vere, when addressing Queen Elizabeth I and bowing towards her, farted so loudly that it could not go unnoticed. And he was so embarrassed by this that he left England and traveled for 7 years, hoping people would forget. But when he got back, Queen Elizabeth I said, and I quote, "My lord, I had forgot the fart." Queen Elizabeth I is one of the greatest rulers of all time, and I will fight anyone on that. There's not one piece of art in this room except for I was recently reminded of the fact that I accidentally rigged my junior year homecoming king vote. American schools, we have dances and then we vote for someone in that grade to become the king and queen of the dance, and I don't know why. So in English, and they just give us slips of paper that says, like, write down who you want in your grade of king and queen. So I'm sitting there, like, not caring about this at all, and so I say out loud, who would hate this the most? So I look to my left, and there sits Josh! And Josh hates everything and everyone, and so I say out loud, Josh would hate this! And he makes the fatal mistake of saying, you better not. And then everyone's like, that's a great idea, and they put Josh's name down. So a week later, they do morning announcements, and the English class freaks out because Josh won, and everyone else in every other class is like, how? I don't think he ever forgave me for that. So my early ancestors were probably Vikings and definitely Scottish warriors. So we're just a denser people in my family. And when my mother went to her father in high school to complain about her body type and how she was bigger than most of her friends, my grandfather's response to this high school age girl who's complaining and feeling insecure about her body type was, well, you know, your great-grandfather was the only man in the Danish army who could lift his own horse. And I live by that. I have just discovered that one of the Mandela effects is the freaking opening to old Disney movies where Tinkerbell comes out of the da-da-da-da-da, and then she comes out and she goes dink to the screen, and then it all goes to the Disney castle, and then I remember that. But apparently a lot of people don't remember it, and a lot of people don't think it exists because you can't find it anywhere, and my parents threw out all of the old Disney movies that we had, so I can't even check it, but I remember this. I remember it. Someone find it. I should be studying for my finals right now, but instead I am playing with the most horrifying Snapchat filter! Changes colors! No! It looks like a shrimp! Who came up with this? Wait!
Body crazy, curvy, wavy, big titties, little waist, body, yaddy, yaddy, yaddy.
Do you think the Hogwarts professors have different ways of teaching for different houses? Okay, hear me out. Like, the way that we think about Ravenclaws is in a very, like, traditional classroom setting, but it's also full of, like, all of the weird art students who probably have ADHD and can't focus on one thing for a very long time. So do you think Professor Flitwick has just gotten used to, like, talking about this subject for, like, 10 minutes and being really excited about it, and then just switching complete gears over to this subject for 10 minutes? And then Professor McGonagall has to take, like, extra time with the Hufflepuffs to explain all of the intricate steps of why the transfigurated animals are okay, and that transfiguring them doesn't actually hurt them. So don't do it! And then for Gryffindors, you have to make everything a quest, so Professor Sprout has to, like, teach them all this information so that then she puts together a maze, like the one that Lupin did! And then I think Slytherins would do the best in a traditional classroom of just like, here's all this information and take it in, and then here we'll teach you how it's useful for you in the future.
What's something brutal your therapist pointed out to you, but in the most professional way?
One time I was talking to my therapist about how I have different categories of things that I go to for different people, and like there's very few people in my life that know everything that's going on in my life. And I was giving examples of like, oh, it was my sister and this one other guy. And he was like, why that one guy? And I like started explaining like, oh, this is how we met. And I don't know, I just like talked to him about everything, and I told him everything. And then at the end of the conversation, he was like, oh, you're in love with him. And I was like, what? And he was right. I just found out that the reason that we have stethoscopes, you know, that thing that lets doctors listen to your heart, is because a doctor was so incredibly uncomfortable putting his ear on women's chests to listen to their heart that he created the most iconic I am a doctor thing ever. And honestly, I respect him so much for respecting women, and also for finding the most unique way to come out of the closet. That's amazing! Harry Potter TikTok is officially making me a criminal! I just got home from work and I was sitting in my car watching TikToks when I came across one about Harry Potter headcanons that were really sad. And I started crying because I'm emotionally unstable. 15 minutes later, I've composed myself and I'm still sitting in my car watching TikToks, and a police officer comes over and knocks on my window. And he says, hi, we just got a call about a woman in distress in her car. And I had to explain to a real-life police officer that I was crying in my car on Harry Potter TikToks. I look so distressed over Harry Potter that someone felt the need to call the cops. Climate change is about to be fixed so fast!
Man, scientists can't shut the fuck up. Like, they want to tell you everything and no one will listen to them.
And here's how you can use that to your advantage in college. Ever needed to cite a very specific research paper but couldn't get to it because of a stupid paywall? Well, don't waste your money. Just email the researcher and ask them for their paper. Because that paywall, that's not paying the researcher, that's paying the person who's hosting that research on that website. Literally just put in researcher's name, email, it comes up 99% of the time. And in my personal experience, the best part about it is that sometimes you can ask the researcher questions, and they will answer because they love talking about whatever they spent hours and hours working on. And then you look like a friggin' genius to your professors. How every single person in this world is not obsessed with Liechtenstein, I will never understand! And no, I am not talking about Sir Ulrich von Liechtenstein! Liechtenstein is a micro-country right in between Switzerland and Austria, and they are home to one of my favorite stories ever! In 2011, Liechtenstein paired with Airbnb to set up a special kind of deal. And in this deal, you would be renting the country of Liechtenstein for $70,000! Renting a country! Part of this deal included getting a palace where you could host 150 guests, printing your own money, changing signs. You get a wine tour with the actual Prince of Liechtenstein. I mean, that's a good friggin' deal! So first a couple decided to rent the country for their wedding, but then they broke up so they didn't end up doing it. And then Snoop Dogg tried to rent the country to film a music video, and the Principality of Liechtenstein said, no thank you. I love Liechtenstein so much. Yes, this would be the greatest Hallmark movie, and here's another reason why. So one negative side of Liechtenstein is the fact that they don't have a great track record of women's rights. Women couldn't vote until the 80s. They also have a constitutional monarchy, and their constitution clearly states that the ruling monarch can only be male. But if I were to rent the country of Liechtenstein, declare myself queen, that would mean I would be the only female ruling monarch in Liechtenstein history! And I would literally do anything! And I mean anything. That's all. I haven't slept in 36 hours, and if we were to take the Harry Potter movies as canon, which we can't because hello, the end of the 7th one, but if we did, I have some questions that I need answers. First and foremost, what happened to Tom? This was him in the first movie as the bartender of the Leaky Cauldron, and then this was him in the 3rd movie. What happened? What happened? What went wrong? What happened here? Forget the Philosopher's Stone. Professor Flitwick went from this distinguished gentleman to this absolute
firecracker of a wizard. I mean, come on. Drop the skincare routine is Wingardium Leviosa applicable to multiple things. Or did you suck the soul out of Tom?
Late, drunken night at Leaky Cauldron. Things got weird. They woke up that way. No one knows why. No one knows. I just found out that Mozart, you know that guy that's pretty famous for writing some of the most complex musical compositions ever, wrote a 2.5-minute long 6-part vocal harmony song entitled Lick My Ass. And I don't know why, but the fact that it's in a round makes it even funnier. Oh, this just makes me want to learn it and put it on the internet so badly. I just found out about a robot that I am absolutely in love with and also makes me want to facepalm so hard about being an American. Hitchbot is this adorable little robot created by 2 Canadian guys who wanted to ask the question, can robots trust human beings? So they set up this little guy to see how far he could get hitchhiking. For an entire month, this Hitchbot rode around in people's cars all over Canada. The researchers went so far as to set up social media accounts for this robot and had to disable its GPS settings because it gained so much popularity. It then gained international attention, and another Hitchbot was made in Germany, which traveled around for about 10 days, then another in Netherlands, which traveled around for 3 weeks. And then they brought one to America. The goal was to get it from Boston to San Francisco, but it had a little hiccup in Philadelphia where it was beaten to death and decapitated. The head has never been recovered. So I guess we've answered the question that Hitchbot can trust everyone but the Americans. Okay, listen. Okay, listen. I am not a person that people immediately, want to get my number, want to go on a date with me. It takes some time to warm up, realize my personality is stellar, and then people ask me out. But I went to a birthday party last weekend that was Elton John themed, so I dressed up like Elton John, and I got 2 different people's numbers. 2 different people asked for my number, which means, based on the data, if I carry the one, my peak attractiveness is dressing like Elton John. I just found out about something that you're gonna want to put on your bucket list immediately! That would be the City Museum in St. Louis. This museum is a 10-story playground for adults! I didn't realize how much I miss playing on playgrounds until I looked at these pictures! Massive ball pit! This crazy thing outside that you can climb all over! The roof has a pond and a Ferris wheel! The inside has a massive fish tank, a food court, shopping. They serve adult drinks. It has a 5-story slide! The roof also has this massive school bus that hangs over the side of the building. You can go sit in the driver's seat and be above the entire city, which you could not pay me enough money to do! I wanna go there so bad! I wanna go so bad! I just found out about a sexy Lucifer statue! It's 1840 Belgium. They just finished a new church, Cathedral of St. Paul. They want to put a statue of Lucifer in the church. So they asked this well-known sculptor, Joseph Jeeves, to create a fallen angel statue of Lucifer. And oh man, did he And they realize it's having a certain effect on their congregation. A little bit distracting, you might say. So they asked Joseph Jeeves' brother, who's another famous sculptor, to make another fallen angel statue of Lucifer. I don't know if he was having his own personal faith crisis or was just mad that his brother got fired, but he made this. It's so much more. It's so much sexier. Oh my gosh. And it still stands to this day. I truly don't know if I should be laughing or crying right now, because within 1 minute, I found out that Pot Roast the cat died, and I'm devastated. And I also found out that the New Zealand government, the parliament, played the YouTube audio of the Terrible Flute Titanic song on repeat on loudspeakers to deter protesters from gathering. I just found something out that's gonna make you want to go to a Goodwill immediately! A woman walks into a Goodwill and sees this mysterious gentleman sitting on a shelf for $34.99. She says, I'll take it! After taking it to some auction houses, she found out this bust is 2,000 years old!
old, and it's from ancient Rome. It was on display in Europe until the 1940s when it suddenly disappeared. I bet they did not see that coming. Until this woman found it in America in 2018! Piece of art history was literally just sitting on a shelf in Goodwill. So a woman finds this distinguished gentleman in a Goodwill for $34.99, comes to find out it's an ancient Roman marble bust over 2,000 years old. And the question is, what does she do with it? Does she sell it? No! She actually does the right thing and tries to give it back to where it was stolen from, which was in Germany. This process takes over 4 years, which in the meantime, he's just sitting in her house, welcoming her each day as she walks through the front door. She names him Dennis after her favorite character in Always Sunny in Philadelphia, until a deal was actually struck, the terms of which are confidential. But Dennis is going home. Finally, after 75 years, thinking that he was lost to time, he's going home. There's one thing about me is that I'm gonna dilly-dally. I am a dilly-dallyer. You got 5 errands? I can do maybe 2, and it's gonna take 5 hours. What am I up to? I'm dilly-dallying. I need this video to get to AOC or some congressional intern immediately. Okay, if you want to make history, I need you to get a Speaker of the House placard, and I need you to get all the Democratic heavy hitters to pass it from one another with the Kevin from Home Alone audio that Kevin's not here. Oh my god! And then at the very end, when the mom screams, Kevin, I need it to be the 12th time that Kevin McCarthy is not elected to Speaker of the House. Please do this! Please do this for America! One of my favorite moments of not realizing that something was completely unreasonable until you actually said it out loud was when I was doing an intake with a therapist and they said, do you have any ideation? And I said, no. And they said, none at all? And I said, well, I mean, I think about how nice it would be to, and I think about different ways of myself, but I would never actually do it. So I got laid off, and today was my last day, and, you may think that's why I'm crying, right? It's not. I just watched a really sad edit of Tangled on this stupid app. So I was laid off and Friday was my last day, and I was the only member of my team to get laid off, which really super sucked. But to prove that I will never actually leave, I hid these 2 pictures of myself all over the office with different things in the speech bubble. And at 3:30 today on Monday, I have been informed that this is what they've been doing all day. The best part about it is that I numbered all of these photos, but I skipped numbers. So I will never think they found all of them. I just found out that in the 1700s, King Frederick I of Sweden had a pet lion that died, so he gave it to a taxidermist to stuff, but the taxidermist had never seen a lion before. Men's fantasies about women often include, like, dehumanizing them, making them their moms, like, all of the things that they want, like the perfect woman, right? Meanwhile, women came up with an entire genre of books about men just treating them well. Just treating them like they like them. So I am a guardian of an ancient feline named Mr. Max. He's 15 and has lived the majority of his life as an outdoor-indoor cat, but now lives in an apartment in his retirement where he's safe. And he definitely misses the great outdoors. And I know this because every day he cries at me until I let him go outside on our disgusting balcony where he can just lay in the dirt. Okay, listen, I know I'm being paranoid, but I need to shower desperately. But Mr. Max is out on the patio, and you can see into my patio so easily, and I'm so scared that if I leave him out there while I shower, somebody's gonna think he's dead. Sure, I'm happy for you that you found a soulmate in your cat. But some of us just picked up a little trash monster that they live with now and they're responsible for.
Every Halloween, we see witches on broomsticks, and it makes me laugh so much now knowing why, and it's because witches were associated with riding broomsticks because in the Middle Ages, women were found out to be riding broomsticks. So this behavior had to be demonized, obviously, and so now they're associated with the occult, which is just my favorite thing. Happy Halloween, fellow witches.
Being in a corporate job as a creative person is such a weird thing because you're sitting there and you're like hearing all of this like, oh, it's the beginning of Q4 and we have to, our numbers need to be up and blah, 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 blah. And you're like, none of this matters. None of this matters. Literally at all. And then you go and cry because someone didn't like how you played pretend well enough to put you in the show playing pretend. That is what matters to you. I don't want to be rich in the way of like multiple homes across the world, flying private jets, diamonds rich. I want to be the rich that is inviting my friends over every Friday night for cocktails and apps in glasses that all match on a couch that's exceptionally comfortable in a home that I have decorated to an inch of its life. I want to be able to take care of someone if they need a place to stay for a night or 6 months. I want to host Sunday craft afternoons where we make things that we can then donate to charity shelters. I want to host a big family dinner every week where everyone's invited and everyone feels like they have a home. I want to be Monica from Friends. Oh no.
I don't know why I did it. I guess it's probably because I've got a big lesbian crush on you.
I found these little mittens in my old coat and I forgot I had them, and ever since putting them on they have two modes. First of all, the first mode is the sweet little mittens where I'm just a sweet girl in a small town who's just waves at everyone as they go by, and I'm just waiting for Prince Charming to come and save my Christmas tree farm. And oh, isn't she so soft and so cute and so warm, and don't you want to just give her a little hug and make some snowballs with her and throw them and pet a dog and just but second mode is a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and suddenly, consider yourself at home, consider yourself part of the family.
Please, sir, can I have some more? I had the most egregious interaction with a stranger on a plane a couple of days ago that I am still processing because I cannot believe that this happened to me. I'm in the back of the plane. I'm in a window seat of a very full flight. One of the last people to get on the plane was the woman in the middle seat in my row, okay? The plane takes off and I do what I do on every single flight, which is involuntarily fall asleep, which I understand a lot of people would say that that is a blessing and not a curse, but guess what? While sleeping on planes is kind of nice sometimes, it also leaves me completely defenseless to these strangers that I'm currently surrounded by, okay? So I wake up when we're about to start landing and I start grabbing my stuff to get ready to get off the plane. And the woman in the middle seat turns to me and she goes, "You're awake. You were such a sweepy, sweepy baby. You swept a whole flight." Excuse me? While she said, "Sweepy, sweepy baby," this total stranger who I'm having a first interaction with, she stuck her finger in my armpit and tickled me. Sweepy, sweepy baby. Here's what I need you to understand about Renee Rapp, okay? She's insanely talented, right? Clearly, yes. But the thing is, everyone's reaction to this video is how crazy it is that she's able to sing those notes while sitting cross-legged. And is that impressive? Yes, that's very impressive, okay? Here's what people don't understand, okay? You go to New York City, you go to a Broadway casting call, you spit. And you will hit 10 women that can do that exact same thing. And that is not to diminish Renee Rapp's talent here. She's an insane vocalist, okay? Her vocals are out of this world. She's an incredible songwriter, an absolute stunning performer. I adore adore her. But what I need everyone to understand, while they love Renee Rapp for this happened in large part because of her musical theater training, okay? Those vocals don't just happen to a person. You have to work at it. And that's why me and all the other musical theater nerds out there get freaking furious when people get put on Broadway as stunt performers or Hollywood people get cast in movie musicals that can't sing, because this is the level of excellence that we're used to and that we want to see all the time. You're telling me that there is a female stingray that is in a tank with only other female stingrays and sharks. So we have two options on the table. We have an immaculately conceived stingray, which means that we have Jesus stingray coming. A new Messiah, a new religion is possibly being born. Or a new species of a shark ray or a sting shark, depending on who you are. Now listen, both of these are absolutely incredible options, but I'm personally going to put money on shark ray, both on it being a shark stingray hybrid and calling it shark ray because I think that flows better than sting shark. Personally, this is incredible. What a world we live in. What a world we live in. I was meeting this booth for Salt Lake Acting Company support. And this little girl came over, only like 7 or 8, came back 3 different times. Each time a more iconic line was dropped. I loved her. The first time she came around, we were like, you can spend for candy or maybe get free tickets. And she goes, free tickets to what? We were like, the kids show in December. And she was like, is it any good? And then the second time she came around, she was like, Sly, she's like, do you remember me? And I said, yes, I do remember you. She was like, I want more candy. Can I have some? And I said, yeah, absolutely. Just come spin the wheel again. I was like, you can come back again. Maybe I will. I'm being followed around by so many boys that like me. Ugh. She literally 8 years old. And then the last time she came back around, she didn't even spin the wheel. She just came and got candy. And we were like, at this point, girl, you work here more than I do. As she's grabbing the candy, she's looking at another one of the posters and she's like, is this a band or is this a show? And we're like, that's a play. And she goes, oh, well, my babysitter, Annabeth, do you know her? And we were like, no. And she goes, okay, she's in a band and it's like really famous. And we were standing there like, we just got judged by an 8-year-old for not knowing who Annabeth is, the babysitter. I love her so much. And I just wanted to whisper weirdly in her ear, this energy, take with you for the rest of your life. Everyone will try to squash that energy out of you. You keep it forever. I think I just discovered my own Mandela effect, and it's completely ruined my life. I have a memory of watching Snow White as a child, and when she takes a bite out of the apple, it's a perfect circle in the apple, and literally every single time I have ever taken a bite of an apple, that first bite, I have tried to make it a perfect circle. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Today I did. Look at that. Look at how it is. And I was so excited I was going to make a TikTok about it. I just went and watched the video again. There's no shot of that. There's no shot of a perfect circle on that apple. I've been doing this since I was like 6. This is a video for all of my coworkers and my bosses and my supervisors who found out about my TikTok today. Listen, I know when Kevin blurted out in staff meeting in front of the entire leadership of the company that I have a TikTok following for literally no reason. That may have come as a surprise to you because I've been working here for 3 years, and how has that not come up? It's almost like it was purposeful or something. Anyway, I know that you found this out of genuine curiosity, but let me just save you the headline. I don't discuss work on here. I don't even talk about what industry I work in. I've not mentioned you or anything that you've done on this page. This is just a page for my silly little thoughts for my silly little friends. So if you would find it weird that we ended up at the same party together, then you don't really need to go any further. You can just go ahead and close out of the app, maybe delete it altogether. Just an idea. Anyway, and to my coworker Kevin, does 12 p.m. at the flagpole work for a fight for you tomorrow? Because that works for me. I can just send you a calendar e-fight if that's helpful. Okay, thank you so much. That happened over a year ago, and that coworker was also fired for a completely unrelated reason, and I'm still mad about it. I just discovered a manager sent out our schedule with everyone's hourly wage on it, and now everyone knows the team member who is doing the least amount of work is being paid more than anyone else. about to have a riot on their hands. I've had a migraine for 12 years, and that's why I have this thing in my mouth. This is an oral orthotic, which was given to me by a dentist called a neuromuscular dentist, who told me that my braces aligned my teeth, but misaligned my entire jaw, which caused stress on the rest of my head. My teeth do not match. I have an underbite currently, and this lets it keep it in place. Even though I've been going to doctors for 10 years, I actually found this place through word of mouth, through another one of their patients that happened to be a classmate of my sister's. Totally random. I've been working with this doctor and a physical therapist for 3 years. It's not been perfect by any means, but it has significantly helped my headaches. And 6 months ago, I realized that I have a bunch of knots all over my scalp, like the muscles that are under your scalp. I have knots everywhere. And working through those, my jaw's moved again, and I have a lot more pain and pressure release, which is really nice. I still have pain and pressure in my head every single day, which is such a joy. But it's way better than it was 4 years ago, so, you know, you get what you get. We're just hoping for less pain and pressure than what I'm at currently, so I don't have to survive off of really expensive medication for the rest of my life, because I live in America. But if you or someone you know started getting headaches around the time that their braces, they might be related. Apparently it happens more to girls, too. Timothy Chalamet just proposed to Bluesky. I have been in the worst mood the last 2 weeks, but seeing Timothy Chalamet get down on one knee, Supreme Leader Broski, has solved all my mental problems. I am literally sitting outside of my therapist's office, and if I had known that was coming out today, I would have canceled this appointment. I need that $100 back. Oh my gosh, that is the most insane thing I've ever watched. Why did that interview happen? Where were they? What is going on? Why didn't he just come on the celebrity interview show that she does on another channel? I've never seen her chaotic energy in those interviews match so spectacular.